People walking down the street there. We've got, this is Wednesday, hump day, and pretty bright and sunny. Actually put some sunscreen on. We are officially in summer now, although I will again point out that this is not the way the Europeans define the change of seasons. They do it when the actual weather changes. There's a delay, and we really shouldn't be doing the beginning of summer until probably the 20th of the month, 21st, something like that. The point of the about the shortest, or sorry, the longest day of the year is probably the correct time to actually have the beginning of summer, because there's a delay because of convection with air and what have you being heated by the sun. It takes some time before it affects the weather. There's a delay element there. But officially in Australia, just for laziness, I think they basically did it at the beginning of the calendar month. But again, I think the Europeans have got a better system there. It may not be as easy when it comes to the calendar, but it's more accurate in my opinion. So, yeah, I tried to get a clarification of what's happening in Thailand with the travel situation, with the restrictions and what have you. Now, currently they are still going to go ahead with making it easy to get into Thailand, not having to quarantine for the one night. However, and there seems to always be a however when it comes to Thailand, the authorities are going to clarify this situation in a week's time. So in other words, they're going to create greater uncertainty. And there's a very good chance that they're going to overreact to the new strain, the African strain of coronavirus, and they're going to basically retain the old system where you have to quarantine for one night and have a PCR test as opposed to an antigen test. So this is the problem with a place like Thailand. It's just too many chiefs. That's my impression. Seems to be a lot of different people making decisions, and they contradict one another, and they take a long time to make a decision, and they allow an incredible pool of uncertainty to develop around areas like tourism. Business, tourism, they cannot survive in a regime of continual uncertainty. And that's what I think the Thai government is fostering through its equivocating on all this stuff. So it's doing more damage to their tourism recovery. My understanding of the variant is that it's milder overall, but it's quite easily transmissible. In other words, it's a perfect strain to actually provide herd immunity, which is a good thing. If people have got greater immunity overall, natural immunity, that's got to be good for the population. So that appears to be what this is encountering. It's actually a fairly benign mutation. This is a sort of benign mutation from a virus we want. But governments tend to panic, and the Thai government is no exception to the rule. The Australian government does too. So I think they've overreacted. In the case of the Thai government, they've got me on a knife edge on whether I'm going to go on this trip or not, because again, I'm wondering whether I'm just doing it because I'm so keen to get out of the country. Am I making a rational decision? And anything that comes forward that's going to make it harder for me to travel, more costly, more restrictive, is a turn-off. So, yeah, I'm on the boundary when it comes to it. So something like this could easily push me over the edge, and I could just say, stuff it. I'm going to just I'm going to basically cancel tickets today. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to get a hard copy of my accommodation and my bank statement, just so I'm ready to put my application for a 60-day Thai visa in if I decide to go that way. So at least I'm ready and raring to go, because I don't know of anywhere in Smithfield that's equivalent to Officeworks, which I find is quite extraordinary, because Officeworks you can make fairly cheap, especially black and white hard copies off a PDF file that you've got on your flash drive, and that's what I'm going to do. But I don't know of any equivalent type of business in Smithfield. It's crazy. I don't know why Officeworks isn't based up here as well. Cairns is a growing city, and I think eventually you'll find that Smithfield will become a second CBD area. It'll be different to the main one, but it will provide a lot of the same services. Already doing that to some extent, but there are some major gaps, and I think Officeworks is one of the biggest ones. So that would be good. Yeah, but I don't necessarily like going down to central Cairns. I'm pretty well over it, but it is good to get out of the house. And I enjoyed having a walk down the beach yesterday. That was good too. And as you just saw, the bus came, so that's a good sign. So it looks like everything will be fine for me to make my 10 o'clock appointment. It's about 10 to 9 now, so yep, it'll be good to get this out of the way. And of course, I haven't had my coffee in the morning. When I go out and have a few errands to do, I generally put off my coffee until I get back, and I always look forward to having my coffee. So that's something I really do look forward to, and I may even have a haircut if I'm feeling really game. But I'm also thinking about buying 3 bottles of Beefeater gin. It's got a special on, normally $42 per bottle, which is the special price, but if you buy 3 bottles it's $120 all up, so it works out at $40 a bottle. I'm not really keen on buying that much grog, having that much grog in the house, because I like to have some alcohol-free days, but we'll see if I can basically have enough willpower not to go through those bottles continually. That would be good. I'd like to have a break from having G&Ts too. I don't want to eat it every day of the week. It gets boring, so it's nice for me to have the stout on hand that I brewed and just vary things, and maybe occasionally have a bottle of red wine. It's nice for a change too. It's Saturday morning, and nearly killed myself yesterday doing the lawns. I did the mowing finally later in the afternoon yesterday. Probably one of the worst times to do it, really, because it ended up, I think it was about 35 degrees and fairly humid. They said it actually, looked it up online, and it said felt like 39 degrees. Yeah, and I was sweating really badly, and I still haven't finished it. It's a big area to do in summer. It's not hard to do in winter, but there's still a bit of moisture in it, so I had to it actually cut out a couple of times, the motorboat, because I had to increase the height of the blade, because it just was conking out unless I had full throttle on. So yeah, it was a bit of a task yesterday. It looks a bit better than what it did, and I've got the bulk of it done. But I've just got to tidy it up, and I've got to do some edging, and it's quite a bit of gardening required at the moment. Yeah, I was pretty dehydrated when I walked inside after doing it. It's a big place to mow, and I think the novelty's worn off pretty quickly. It's just a task that has to be done, and it's amazing how green it's become in such a short time, because we had a bit of rain, and it doesn't take long for it to lawn to recover. So and I've still got to do my duties with the palm fronds. They keep dropping, of course, and I'm getting on top of it, I think. But if I do travel away for a few months, it's going to accumulate quite a bit. I'm not sure what I'm doing regarding that. I think I deluded myself into thinking that Jetstar had changed the way they'd issued tickets, and you were able to change the dates these days, because it's good. We're in a COVID situation, but I don't think that is the case. I think they're going to basically, if I cancel a ticket, I'm just going to lose the only thing you'll get back is the actual fees at the airports. They'll refund those. But if you want to, say, change your tickets, you're basically stuffed, and and I'm regretting now that I actually already booked the connecting tickets to Sydney. I wish I hadn't done that now, because I'm really very close to not going to Thailand. I don't know. It's going to cost me, because I'll drop a few. I mean, the tickets I bought for the main flight to Phuket were credit tickets I already had, so it didn't cost me anything this time round. But I've had to pay for tickets to Sydney and back. And I don't know, I'm just getting going off the idea of going up to Phuket, because I'm going to have to wear a mask, which I'm not used to doing. And there's no guarantee the place won't be in lockdown, because the Thai government is so easily scared by any COVID variant. They've already rescinded their relaxing of the requirement for the PCR test, and the one night quarantine. They're back on the agenda, and they're also not allowing bars to open. They're going to extend that time. There's no guarantee that they'll be allowed to do that in the timeline of the 15th of January. So the whole thing just turned to crap. And Phuket's not my favourite place, so I think I've made a major blunder here, but I'm not going to be hugely out of pocket. But it's going to sting a bit, you know, if I do actually cancel these tickets. I think it's wrong that they can't come to some compromise, that they give you some money back on your ticket, because they can reissue it. I mean, I could be a boss and just say, stuff you, I won't even tell you, I'll just basically leave the ticket as is and not turn up at the airport. And that way there'll be an empty seat, so you won't make any revenue out of it. Because I think it's wrong that Jetstar will allow me to cancel a ticket, and all I'm going to get back are the minor fees at the airport, which will be refunded. And then they're able to sell that seat again. So they seem to be having their cake and eating it too. I don't think that's right. And it's not like I was under the impression that you could change tickets now it's COVID, but that's not the case apparently. Everything keeps changing these days. You know, you can't. There's just no certainty with travel, and it's a real pain. But it's stressing me out a bit. It might be easier for me just to pull the plug, and it'd be less stress for me. Then any travel I do will just be in Queensland and go down. If things go well with the trip to Brisbane, I might just make that my go-to place until some sanity prevails overseas, or basically, and then buy tickets that allow me to cancel without penalty. I actually did that for the Brisbane ticket, funnily enough. I wish I'd done it for the other ones, the connecting tickets to Sydney, because I don't want to go to Sydney. They're useless to me. I've got absolutely no interest in that. It'd be good if you could just swap names on these tickets and put them up for auction. They just basically change the name on the ticket, and so someone else could use it. So at least you've got some currency with it, but I don't think that is the case. I can cancel my accommodation bookings. That's not an issue, because I did them through booking.com. And if you do them through Airbnb, you're pretty well stuffed. But with booking.com, I've got plenty of room to cancel. Because the other thing I've got to do, if I want to go ahead with the original plans, I've got to then pay $60 and send it in with my passport to Canberra to get a 60-day visa. With other personal information, they also require information. I think it's over the top. They require the proof that where you're living, and you've also, what was the other thing I had to provide? There was some other piece of ID. It was just right over the top. It really does seem to me as if the Thais they really want to make travellers jump through lots of hoops, and it's almost like a game to them, making them, let's torture potential tourists and make it life as difficult as we possibly can. But look, I don't know.
but yeah, I've certainly, I'm always, I mean, there's been plenty of overseas trips where near the end I've thought to myself, oh, do I really want to go? And, you know, almost up to the day of the actual flight. So it's not new for me to do this, but it's certainly this early on in the process it is. As I say, the idea of maybe going down to Brisbane to get some sort of social interaction or what have you, because Steve's there, and just there's more happening there. That is a possibility. The place I did book is very central, so I've got 4 nights just near the Gabba, so that's very good, very convenient. Anyway, that's what I'm still waiting for my ginger plant to sprout. It's been in the pot for about a week now, so I've got high hopes for that. Most of my other plants are doing okay. The climbing, the candlestick climb is doing really well. That's really taken off, so that's good to see. I might get a few more of those to put along the fence and make it look a lot nicer. Yeah, as I say, I just don't know which way I'm going to jump on this Thai trip. I've never been so much sitting on the fence when it comes to going through with something like this. Yeah, it's good. I've heard there's a few people that have watched this channel who are moving up here, and they're either going to wait for the border situation to change or whatever, but there's going to be a few of us up here, so it's good. More the merrier. Oh, that's the other thing. I did a little bit of research on the northern beaches. Summers, I wasn't aware how much bigger population-wise Kewara Beach is compared to Clifton Beach and Palm Cove, but we're actually as big as both of those beaches combined population-wise. The smallest of them is Palm Cove. There's only 2,000 people living up there. There's 2,500 in Clifton Beach, and in Kewara it's over 4,500. So yeah, it gives some indication of why the prices are a little lower here. They're lower than Trinity as well, for that matter. But you know, it's going to be easy to access it. The northern bike trail is being built, and from what I can tell with the route, it's going to make life a lot easier for me to get up to the other beaches, and it'll make it easy for doing a bike ride either along the shore, which would be ideal. That'd be the best one for me, near the beach, or the other one's a bit more inland, just off at the end of Cottesloe, continues on and crosses over through Deep Creek into Clifton Beach. Anyway, that's just a bit of an update. Hopefully it was still supposed to be at 35 again today. It's going to be another hot one. Yeah, it's definitely summer's hit. 33 I think, but it is definitely getting a lot warmer. Anyway, please give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. That extension, the browser extension that I actually installed on Google, that actually is working fine. I can now see all the counts for thumbs down. The dislike count is showing on every site that I look at, except for ones where you've got a web host who basically has disabled that function, because obviously they get a lot of negativity on their site. And one of those is actually a travel one, which I used to go to, but I find it hard to hack the guy these days. And I think he gets a lot of hate because he's got a very young Filipino girlfriend. I mean, she's like a teenager, and he's a guy in his 50s, and I think a lot of people have given him a bit of a hard time on that. I won't dox him, it's not my style, but yeah, I assume that's why he's got a bit of heat, and that's why he's disabled that function totally. So not even I can see what his dislike count is. It just doesn't show. Anyway, so please give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment on the video, and consider subscribing. I did get up to 704 subscribers, and it just went boom right down 5, and it ended up at $6.99. But one of my viewers actually kindly use one of their secondary channels to subscribe, so it would have put me above 700. It's all academic. It means nothing to me financially because you don't get monetarised until you get to 1,000. So that's a long off dream. But it's just a bit of fun basically. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll catch you soon.